The story begins with a glimpse into Jin Seo-jun's past life, where he was introduced to a brutal black market and treated as a bottom-tier commodity. He lived as a miserable slave until the day a powerful master arrived, slaughtered all the illegal traders, and took the young boy in. Following his new master, Seo-jun studied and trained relentlessly to bear the heavy weight of becoming the greatest hero of that era. Time passed, transforming the once defenseless boy into the legendary warrior known throughout the lands as the Sword God. Back in the present day, Seo-jun smiles to himself, thinking that his past glory holds no value in today's modern world. Suddenly, he is startled out of his thoughts by his roommate, Kim Tae-woo, who calls him a crazy bastard. Tae-woo thinks Seo-jun has completely lost his mind, demanding to know if buying an incredibly expensive capsule just to participate in the League of Streaming Loss tournament makes any sense. When Seo-jun calmly asks why it wouldn't make sense, Tae-woo points out how strict the entry requirements are for the competition. He explains that unless a creator is already reasonably popular, they cannot enter, and gaining popularity is far from simple. It requires talking skills, high-level game sense, a sharp sense of humor, and even professional video editing skills. Tae-woo emphasizes that even with those traits, countless creators still fail simply because people refuse to watch them, especially when Seo-jun hasn't even touched a modern VR capsule in years. Unfazed, Seo-jun asks if there is a way to succeed purely through overwhelming skill. Resigned, Tae-woo sighs and calls him a persistent bastard, admitting that there is one way. He would have to be better than the world's #1 pro gamer, Shin Ha-yoon. Seo-jun confidently responds, "Really? Because I am better than her," and casually notes that his mind has essentially been its own training capsule for a long time. Thinking his friend is just talking nonsense, Tae-woo decides that a verbal lecture won't do a thing. Seo-jun needs a real-life lesson. He challenges Seo-jun to get into his capsule, making a deal that if Seo-jun's skills genuinely beat his own, Tae-woo will handle all the housework from now on. Seo-jun smirks and accepts the terms. As Seo-jun steps into the capsule, he admits to himself that he has never truly had an interest in streaming. However, he recalls the words of his past life master, "We all start out with more things we are clumsy at than things we are good at. If you hesitate just because you haven't tried it before, you will never achieve anything." With that thought, the game initializes, and Seo-jun wakes up lying on the wooden floor of a beautiful, traditional Eastern dojo. A system notification pops up as Tae-woo enters the training area. When Seo-jun asks about the environment, Tae-woo explains that this area serves as a training ground where players fight artificial intelligence to set high score records. When Seo-jun asks why they don't just duel each other, Tae-woo mockingly replies that he doesn't know how to hold back in a fight and doesn't want to leave his friend bleeding. He adds that if Seo-jun can somehow beat the record of the player currently ranked here, he will gladly concede the bet. Seo-jun turns his attention to a system pop-up explaining the AI mechanics. The robots range from level 1 to 10, growing progressively stronger with each tier. Level 10 is the final, ultimate level, designed to mimic the exact fighting style of Shin Ha-yoon, the rank 1 player who has held that undefeated spot for 5 consecutive years. Tae-woo teasingly remarks that to even challenge level 10, Seo-jun would have to clear level 9 first, which is an incredible feat in itself. Suddenly, the system screen vanishes, and Seo-jun's avatar moves with blinding speed. Tae-woo, watching from the sidelines, asks his friend which level he chose and if he fearlessly skipped the easy content. A high-level AI robot spawns and instantly launches a sword attack. Tae-woo watches, annoyed, thinking his roommate is acting incredibly arrogant by not dodging normally. Instead, Seo-jun effortlessly spars with the combat robot, executing a perfect fluid counterattack that immediately drains the AI's health bar. Dumbfounded, Tae-woo wonders if it was just a fluke. The robot leaps forward for a desperate final strike, but it misses entirely. Seo-jun reads the opening, delivers a decisive counter blow, and destroys his opponent. The system instantly broadcasts a flashing alert: level 9 opponent defeated, current rank 107. Tae-woo stands completely flabbergasted, his jaw dropping at the realization that his rookie friend just annihilated a level 9 opponent in seconds. The chapter ends on an intense cliffhanger as the digital environment shifts, and the terrifying level 10 AI boss materializes on the field, leaving Tae-woo panicking while Seo-jun remains as cool and collected as ever.